Finito? Finito. Bien.
No, I mean, as a friend, I really hope to keep her as a friend. I just don't see this going further with the language barriers. And and I don't want to lead her on to go down a road that eventually inevitably has a dead end. Because I don't think...
So, man like Scott broken up with Lidia. Then he wants to be friends, but we're going to stop right here. His reasons were because of the language barrier. The language barrier is too much for me. Before we met, we spent a whole year talking. Our conversations were always with a translator, but our conversations were always very short, which I guess is why we kept having them. But in person, it's been so much harder, which is why Scott went out of his way to ask the production team to provide him with a translator. And that is what's happening right now. Someone from the production team is translating for him at his request. And that is basically to tell Lidia that this is done, this is dusted. But there is a catch to why he is really breaking things off with Lidia. And boy, this man is a fool. But before we continue, please start off by smashing that like button. And also comment down below. You can sub if you like, but like the video. But anyway, let's get into it.
I didn't want to have to end it with Lidia. I really care about her. I think she's an amazing woman. But I knew the language barrier was just way too much. And just...
It's funny though, isn't it? When somebody says, but I knew this and I knew that. Why would you go into a situation if you knew the language barrier was going to be an issue? I don't know why he decided to fly out to see her in the first place, given the fact that they had a language barrier and also the conversations that they had were never long ones in the first place. Some people be moving mad.
Father always told me to be honest, and I don't think I'm being honest completely. And I want.
Y yo no creo que estoy siendo completamente honesto.
When we had lunch yesterday, or breakfast
Cuando
with Nicole.
Desayunamos ayer con Nicole.
She mentioned about my ex-girlfriend from Colombia.
The moment my man started talking about an ex-girlfriend, I was like, it's peak of this moment in time, but hey.
We didn't talk for over a year and a half. But recently, she reached out to me out of the blue.
Like, yo, first and foremost, man said we haven't spoken for over a year and a half. But she reached out to me out of the blue. Year and a half. What a sad, sad man.
And I was in love with her. But after 8 months, she completely ghosted me. And I never heard from her.
Okay. She ghosted you. She ghosted you after 8 months. Not a single word. And then a year and a half later, she returns. Because she's returned, he now has mixed feelings about the situation he's got going on with Lidia. I respect the fact that he's making the choice to leave Lidia and go pursue things, but I don't respect the fact that he's leaving Lidia because of this chick. Why? Well, let's keep it simple. Because despite the fact that him and Lidia shouldn't be together, I would have rather of him leaving Lidia because they're not meant to be together, rather than him leaving Lidia for a woman that legit ghosted him for a year and a half. Is this guy okay?
She deserves better than that.
¿Continúa enamorado de ella? Are you still in love with her?
I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm a little mixed on.
How can you tell me you don't know and you got mixed feelings? This guy's a clown. Can somebody get Scott one of those clown wigs, please, and put it on top of his head? Because my man is a clown.
Si tú tienes otra relación, no venga. Y él me dijo que él era soltero, él me traicionó.
I don't blame you. Like, I would feel betrayed. I would feel disrespected. I'd be like, rah, we had this conversation. And now all of a sudden, because somebody's popped back in your life, now you want to just drop me like it's that, like just like that? Scott should be ashamed of himself, to be honest with you. He should be heavily ashamed of himself.
Su novia apareció.
Your girlfriend.
¿Por qué vino?
Why did you
Okay.
come here?
¿Por qué viniste?
Because she just started messaging me with the best intentions.
she started messaging you with the best intentions. How do you know her intentions are the best intentions? I don't know the good intentions. She ghosted you, bro. She ghosted you for near. This guy, oh my goodness.
Él los desbarató. Todo lo que Scott hizo conmigo son mentiras.
I strongly agree. Strongly agree. I don't give a damn if this woman wasn't in the picture the whole time you was talking to Lidia. The fact is, if she came back in the picture, you then decided to drop Lidia because she's back in the picture. That is one of the most saddest and one of the most pathetic things you could ever do to someone. Like, why? Like, you're showing lack of respect for the person that you've been talking to, Lidia, and you're also showing lack of respect to yourself because it means the value. It means that you value yourself at a very low standard. Because why are you gonna accept someone back in your life that left you, ghosted you, disrespected you, and now you want to leave someone that you've been talking to for a whole year, that you've just met, someone that ghosted you way back, and also on top of that, you now want to go back to someone who you sent tons of money to, rather than stay with someone that you sent no money to, pretty much. Logic. Wild, isn't it? I mean, like I said before, despite the fact that I don't think that him and Lidia are a match anyway, purely because Lidia and Nicole are just insufferable, it's just kind of wild because his behavior now kind of backs up Nicole and Lydia's intentions of trying to really question him about his intentions. I guess maybe they had a gut feeling about his intentions. Maybe they didn't have a gut feeling on exactly what it was necessarily, but obviously they wanted a quiz man because something maybe just didn't make sense. And then boom, this happens. Pathetic man.
Una maleta llena de amor, de cariño, de respeto. Y guardé todas esas cosas para usarla con Scott.
But of course, Scotty boy has gone off and ruined all of that.
Para que él se sintiera bien. Pero él lo echó a la basura.
Ah, man, you know, I really dislike this world sometimes, you know. When you watch people who just move in a very interesting way, it makes you wonder, like, bro, like, what made you think that this was going to be okay? What made you think that your behavior was going to be acceptable, you know? At the end of the day, it's so sad that we live in a world where we have people like Scott, to be honest with you. You know, and it really bothers me because obviously Lidia and Nicole were the ones that were definitely looking the most problematic out of the relationship here, but in reality, Scott over here coming out with some nonsense. Absolute nonsense. He should have never come. If he knew that he still had feelings for another woman, and he knew that if that woman came back in his life, he was going to go back to her, 100% he should have never come. Obviously, yes, we can talk about how was he meant to know whether this woman was meant to come back or not. It doesn't matter whether he knew she was going to come back or not. What matters is that he should have known that if she did come back, he was either going to say no and reject her, or he's going to say yes, I'll take her back. If he knew that he was always going to take her back, then that means he should never got involved with any woman in the first place. But if he knew he was always going to reject her and carry on his life with the person that he was with, fair enough. And he cannot use the fact that he tried to use the language barrier as an excuse to begin with is kind of annoying now. Because I did agree with the point, to be fair, because like them two communicating was just a myth. But I don't respect this guy. Anyway, you guys let me know what you're thinking down below. We'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, sub, and of course.